Hello, 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 hello.
Hi.
Come on in, viewers. It is Monday. It is 6 p.m. So you know what that means. It's Green Table Senior Care Talk Show time.
All right.
All right, we're going to make sure we're on all of our platforms. As we do that, we want you to go ahead and share this on your platform. Go ahead and tag some individuals that need to be in the room. Today we're talking about mental health. I'm going to have a conversation around that. And so please go ahead, tag some individuals, go ahead and share it on your platform so we can make sure we get the information out there, right? And we need your help. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and let us know also if you can hear us and see us okay. If you all can shout out to us, tell us hello in the comments, in the chat. And so we can talk back to you. We would love to do that.
Okay.
But without further ado, I think we're ready. We're on all platforms. We're
I
good.
think we are. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Green Table Senior Care Talk Show, where we bring awareness, where we bring insight, where we bring you support to help you navigate the senior care industry, the caregiving world, to let you know the ins and outs, the do's and the don'ts on what you need to do as a caregiver, a current caregiver, an up and coming caregiver. And to our past caregivers, this is just a great community where you can be a part of like-minded individuals so you don't feel alone and you can get support, you can get all the things you need here on the Green Table Senior Care Talk Show. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your co-host, Jessica Wright Finch.
And I am Ishonda Blue.
And we are your senior care experts as well. And Ishonda is going to tell you a little bit about who we are and why we are your senior care experts.
Yes, we are your sisters. We are registered nurses. We have been doing this for a combined 40-something years, telling our age. But anyway, we love seniors. This is our ministry. We started our business in 2007, Innovative Senior Solutions, with the personal experience of taking care of our grandmother, who's our very first client. So we know what it looks and feel like to be a caregiver. We know what it looks and feel like to take care of your loved one. Again, that is the foundation that we built our business on. Our mission is to improve the lives of seniors by preventing them from going to their nursing home and keeping them in their homes and community as long as possible. That is our mission. That was the mission since day one, 18 years ago. It has not changed. And today we are your number one choice for adult daycare. We have multiple locations. We have locations in Valdosta, Americus, Albany, Baxley, soon to be Columbus. So we have different locations throughout the state. If you're interested in opening your own adult day center, we are a franchise. So if you're interested in getting started, you can definitely contact us about that as well. We have years of experience. I'm just trying to validate our senior care expert. While we're senior care experts, we've done home care, we've done adult daycare, we've done personal care homes, we do transportation. We've done it all in the senior care community. So anyway, that's just a little bit about who we are tonight.
All right. Well, if you need more information, you can always fact find us. We're there, Google, however, you can find out all about the sisters and how we can help you. So I see some viewers. I see our OGs are tuning in, are coming in on the chat. Hello, Miss Evelyn. So to our OGs who are here every Monday at 6 p.m., thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for seeing the value in the Green Table. And for our newcomers, for you all, thank you for joining us. please make sure that you tune in. Make sure you share this on your platform, because listen, this is going to hit every single household.
Yes.
You know, so if you haven't been a caregiver, you will be a caregiver, or you will need caregiving. So again, this touches every single household, and we just want to do our part and sound the alarm and let you know all the resources, the tools, and all the things that are available for you to help you do that.
That's right.
All right. Hello, Miss Thomas. How are you? I love it. I love it. Keep chiming in, viewers, letting us know you're there in the comments. Listen, we have a great topic on this evening. Why mental health conversations are still taboo in the Black and minority community. So we're going to be talking about mental health in the minority, the Black and minority communities, because this is national
minority.
Yep.
Mental health awareness month. National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes. And so in the month of July, we're going to be talking to you about how we're going to bring the conversation full circle to the forefront, and we're going to have healthy dialogue about it. Okay. If that's okay with you, put yes in the chat. And so let's jump right in. So we have five tips that we want to talk on about mental health in the Black and minority communities. And the first thing we want to do is acknowledge the culture stigma.
Historical and the cultural stigma. The stigma is we don't talk about it. I know in our family, because we were just having this conversation this weekend, is we were talking about, our uncle who had mental health issues, and how our grandparents, which was his parents, thought he was just playing, or didn't really think it was real, that he could just pop out of it. He had been to Vietnam. He had been to the Vietnam War, and we know a lot of people came back affected from that with mental health challenges, and so he had those. And then it could be just lack of education, but it was definitely not really talked about, not really understood, and just that part.
Yeah. You know how we do. We keep it in the house. It's swept under the rug. We only, we don't talk about this outside of the house. This is no one else's business. We're going to handle this within. And then they say that this is true. We just say we're going to pray about it. We're going to pray about it, and we're going to let, God do his work. And yes, we got to pray about it, but we got to also we got to talk about it. And we got to get help, right? We got to, he gave us 5 senses, he gave us tools, he gave us resources. So we can't just pray about it. That's it. We got to go and do the work.
You can have faith and mental health care. They can coexist. Yeah. So I would say number one is just acknowledging that it is a stigma out there. I think things have gotten better definitely today compared to what I think about back to my uncle, 20-something, 30-something years ago. But number one is just acknowledge that it is a stigma. That's number one. We're going to acknowledge that it is a stigma out there, and that it is okay to talk about it. That's number one.
And number one goes right into number 2, normalizing mental health like physical health. So just like any other health, just like, you go and you get treated for your diabetes, your high blood pressure, that's normal, right? Yeah. It's what we do. So we have to treat mental health just like that. We got to go to the therapist. We got to take our medication. We got to make sure we got to go get diagnosed and get treated. Yes.
Properly diagnosed.
That's it.
And like you said, Jessica, just like with your diabetes, if you don't go to the doctor, if you don't take your medicine, if you don't get routine visits, it get worse, right? And you can have mental health and still live a productive life.
Oh, yes.
As long as you get your treatment. So that's number one, getting diagnosed, getting treatment, so that you can live the best possible life, right?
Yes.
That your loved one
Your
can.
full life, best life. And that is the key ingredients.
Yeah.
Care, treatment, and then you have the support, right?
Mhm.
Because this is ongoing. This is something that, it's not a one and done. It's not, I'm just going to take the medicine, go to the doctor's appointment this time, and then don't do it. This is ongoing, just like any other health chronic disease.
That's
It's
right.
ongoing. We want to make sure that we're not sweeping it under the table. So normalizing mental health. And I think you said it best. We have seen so headways of how we're talking about it. We have this month of awareness. We have several mental health awareness months. And so just putting out there and making it normal.
Yeah.
Like, this is just something else. This is me going to get my annual physical exam. I'm going to get my my mental health checkup.
That's right.
Normalizing it.
That's right.
It's number 2.
And then 3 is starting with small conversations. Like, it's okay to talk about your feelings. And that's really the first step toward healing, is having a safe space to talk about your feelings.
Having honest conversation, somewhere where you don't feel judged, somewhere where you can feel free to express yourself and get non-judgmental response, right? So getting in a safe place, like you said, a place where you can express your feelings, whether it's it could be with a family member, it could be over dinner, it could be with your church, in a small church group. So find that person, find that group where you can have honest conversation. You feel safe, and you know that the conversation ends here. It goes nowhere else. I feel comfortable in doing that. So that is important.
I keep thinking back to my uncle as my example. Because growing up with him, living with him, because he stayed at grandma's house, and we would spend a lot of time at grandma's house. And I'm not sure if he really, now he was loved. Oh, yes, he was loved. He was loved. But I don't know if he really had that space to have a conversation, because he was a very smart man, too. And so I think sometimes it ended up in him acting out more.
Yeah.
And if he probably had that safe space, to have that conversation, things would have looked a little different. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know, I don't know if he had that freedom, because we never talked about it.
Nobody ever talked about it. And as we were talking about it yesterday, this weekend, because it was our family reunion, and so we were just reminiscing, and then somebody was sharing a story about someone having a mental breakdown, but they didn't use that word. They said she was sick. She got sick. I was like, well, what does that mean? What tell me more. Tell me more. Yeah. And so, I'm thinking, it's a chronic, a sickness other than not mental health is what I was thinking. But that's what they were referring to. And so again,
that is such a good point, Jess. That's such a good point, because in that particular example, it was a situation where the person really got overloaded, right? And that happens a lot. Like I know I've been at almost breaking points, but they broke, and but it didn't affect their lives. Like they didn't get diagnosed with bipolar or schizophrenia or any of that stuff. It was just really a breaking moment, and that's mental health.
Yeah.
And we have to, and that's another reason why we need to talk about it, because we need to know when we get to breaking points. But because we don't talk about it, we keep taking it on, keep taking it on, keep taking it on. And, that conversation is important.
Yeah, I think that's good, because we always think of the worst, right? But it can just be an overload. It doesn't have to be, the schizophrenia, like I said, the bipolar. people go to the extreme. When you think of mental health, a lot of people go to the extreme.
Yeah.
But it could just be overwhelmed.
Stress is it's a serious business.
Yeah, it'll break you. Yeah. What did I say? What about the pressure robusta?
I know what you're talking
about. So much pressure. You all know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, that.
Yeah, pressure. Yeah, we got it. We got it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's number. So we just went through 3, starting with small conversations. 4 is finding cultural competent providers. What do you say about that?
Because as minority, as African American, we do have different struggles. We do have different things that other groups and nationalities cannot relate to. And so it is important that you find someone that you can relate to, someone that you vibe with, that understands what you're going through, and then probably can speak to it from experience, or just being minority and African American. So I do think that is important to find the right person.
Yeah, I know here locally we have Perry Wellness Center. I was just explaining that to someone today about Perry Wellness Center, and I really love their niche, how they get them to work and staying active, right? Staying and purposeful, giving them purpose work. I think that's really good. And then I know we have Middle Flint here as well. Those are only 2 mental health providers that I know of. Just I don't know if you know of any other ones.
I think it's some more counseling. I was just looking it up. I think it was one right on the side of the Windsor. I can't remember. I'm going to look them up.
Yes,
because we did. She did the pitch cover. So I'm going to look it up, and I'm going to put those resources in, because that is a African American minority therapist here in Sumter County, and I think it's I'll look it up. I don't want to.
That's right, Lena. People can be in denial about it. In fact, and just since you're looking up providers that are specifically that can help minorities, I went ahead and looked up what are some mental health diagnoses that are kind of specific to minorities, and it may be things that we haven't really even thought about. But depression is one. That's very common in minorities. And this was something I didn't even have on the radar, but anxiety disorders. If you have anxiety, those are things that are common in minorities. Post-traumatic stress disorder. And this is what was going on with my uncle since he had been in the Vietnam War. We do have a lot of people that are affected by that PTSD, that's post-traumatic stress disorder. Another one is substance use disorder. I didn't think about that one. That is one thing that often face minority groups. This is trauma from racism and discrimination. That one that wasn't on the radar.
Wow.
And then caregiver stress and burnout. And we see that all the time, and we know it goes untreated. We won't, not even acknowledge, really. We just keep going. So those were just a few of diagnoses out there. Of course, there's schizophrenia and bipolar and those different things, but I wanted to point out some of the diagnoses that are really more specific to minorities. And so those are the ones that that came up. So just, did you find any?
The one that I was talking about is it Lotus Nest?
Oh, Lotus Nest Counseling. Okay.
Yeah, the one beside the Windsor. She is a African American counseling service here in Americus, and I will be pulling up a few more as well as we go through it. And I will just drop them in the chat. How about that?
Yeah, yeah. And then the last tip on tonight, number 5, is encouraging self-care without guilt. Yes, we have to do self-care. I can remember one time, me and Jessica, we were invited to speak at this conference, Traffic Sales and Profit, TSP. And we were up there to talk about, I don't know, real estate. I don't know what we were up there talking about. But anyway, at the end of our presentation, one of the attendees asked us, what did we do for self-care and personal development? And we were like, we both looked at each other. We didn't have an answer. And that is really what opened my eyes to really looking at self-care, and being intentional about self-care. So anyway, that we need to do that without guilt. We got to take breaks. It's not being selfish, it's survival. It's specifically to the family caregivers out there. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to use respite care, adult daycare. You got to protect your peace, and that matters.
Wow. So, yeah, I see Selenia. Hello, Selenia put in another resource here locally. God and Light with Dr. Shakidra Little Harris is also a counseling service that you can use here locally that is minority owned and operated. So, and I will put in Lotus as well. So listen, anyone else who have any resources that would help, that you know of, that would help and be beneficial, please put it in the chat. We'll really appreciate that as well.
Yes, thank you. So those are our 5 tips on tonight. Like Jessica said, if you got any more resources, please put them in the chat. We need to start making ways so that we can have conversations with our family. We got to tear down that stigma, so that they feel free to have conversations. And 2, we got to get to the doctor. We got to get treatment. We got to get diagnosed first, and then get treatment. And family, we just have to support them. We have to support those people that, so that they don't feel like they have to be afraid or go into a bubble or anything like that. So anyway, those are our tips on tonight.
So listen, I want you all to continue to tune in, continue to tag someone in the comments, share this on your platform, because throughout the month of July, we're going to be shining a light on this. Like people say, like we hear all the time, it's like taboo in our communities to talk about mental health. We want to normalize this just like it is any other medical condition. We want to shine a light on it, and we want to know that it's okay to get care, to get treatment, and you will have support.
That's right.
So again, thank you all for tuning in and being a part of tonight's important conversation. Again, please share this on your platform. Please drop your resources in the comments. We are a community. We want to share our knowledge, our resources here on the Green Table Senior Care Talk Show. So again, we thank you all for tuning in, and we will be right back here next Monday, 6 p.m. Here on the Green Table Senior Care Talk Show. So set your notifications, set your clock, and we'll see you right back here.
See y'all next Monday.
All right. Bye-bye.